distributed out, so that was great. We all love moms. Mom's Day is coming up on Sunday, so make sure you treat mom right because we all love our moms because if it wasn't for moms, none of us would be here. A lot of stuff coming up and down the pike. Very there was news breaking on the scandal of Dr. Kelly and USC, the second one off of the one with the gynecological scandal. Now we have the gay the Dr. Kelly who was allegedly taking advantage of the gay students out there on that and had some really explicit stuff coming on. 18 more students signed on to the lawsuit on that one. What the heck is going on down at USC? I mean, I know the joke was University of Student Criminals, but it looks like the staff and what was going on there is not good. We'll cover that. Melissa Melendez cut up a basketball that she had autographed from the Clippers and sent it to somebody. A lot of us really loathe. We'll cover that story a little bit later on. But our main sponsor, Toyota of San Bernardino, which we all love. And if you need a new car, cruise on down there and they'll set you right up as you're looking at that. We have the proprietor of Toyota San Bernardino who just got back from a trip from Texas. Cliff Cummings, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It was 8 days of Louisiana and Texas and then the office today. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but it got me. And I'm tired, but I can tell you what, there was a lot going on in Texas. There was a lot of Toyota stuff, a lot of Toyota great news coming, but there also was some political stuff. And one of the things that is extremely intriguing is that certain areas in Texas, Austin being one, and I'll be there in June, are turning a little left. And the Texans are putting up billboards saying, you're welcome here, but leave your politics in California. So a whole bunch of Democrats moving out of the state because of taxes or company transfers, particularly, right. I would say a great deal to Texas on company transfers because their economy is going absolutely nuts as well as is Nevada's. And so they're just basically saying, look, you want to come here, we love you, baby, but we like our guns, we like hunting, we like fishing, we like all those things. So don't try to impose your California will on us. And you ran away from it. You left. So don't try to bring it here. So it was just great, kind of refreshing fun. And, but Austin has always been sort of left of center, and they're getting left of left. And the rest of the state's still hanging in there pretty well, I think. But business was good. Housing's great down there. You know, I'm building a couple of places in Las Vegas, outside of Las Vegas, in Henderson. And it's tough finding labor, Roy. They're just working. They're booked up. They're working. We're building the houses. They'll be ready in August. But it's tough to find bodies to come to work. And I'm told 80% of the people moving in are from California. So even more people leaving our state and going elsewhere, and with good reason. I read while I was away that the governor or someone, no, it wasn't the governor. I can't blame this one on him, but one of his lackeys is talking about taxing drinking water.
Yes.
Now that is a new low to me. That is just absolutely a new low to me. Have you heard much about that?
Yes, we've covered it a little bit, but probably not enough. Yes, they want to tax drinking water along with flushing your toilet and everything else around. I mean, it's just like a new tax a day. I mean, I think we would welcome a new tax a day because it seems like 10 new taxes a day are coming out. The governor just reintroduced his budget over almost $220 billion on a budget for California, and they want to raise our taxes and do this stuff even more. They do not have a revenue problem. They have a spending problem.
Bingo. And as we used to say on the East Coast, bingo for the Catholics listening to the show. And it is a shame, and I still wake up and I read the news and I go to the office and I talk to my folks, or go to the other office and talk to the other folks, and I do not for the life of me understand how anybody can vote for a Democrat unless you're on 100% dole and they think their freebies will keep on going. But I don't understand how they do it. It is destroying the state. More companies moving out every day, more jobs moving out every day. Had a reporter call me and say, hey, guess what? By the way, the state population went up. And I said, yeah, so? And he said, well, the number of $100,000 jobs have gone up. I said, how many jobs does it take to cover one $5 million person leaving? Right? You do the math, and you take $100,000 is a lot of money. But when people are leaving and they're making 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 million, that takes all the wind out of the sails. And unfortunately, the state has driven them out, continue to drive them out, but it is driving up a bunch of things. It's driving up prices of housing in Arizona, Nevada, Texas, and big time Idaho. It is driving up the cost of renting a U-Haul out of the state. Sure cheap to bring it back in. There are a lot of people out there on the planet who are very happy California government is doing what doing to the people, because they leave and they're getting more money for their houses. And by the way, the kids from Toyota, they're showing me the houses they bought for the money that they sold their house in California for. They off their house at the beach. They bought it in Dallas or right outside of Dallas, and these things are monsters. They're 5,000, 6,000 square feet pool, acre and a half, and they paid less than what they had bought, what they own for 1,200 square feet somewhere near the beach.
Right.
So
yeah.
It's great news for them. I'm happy for them. I hope they do well. Like I say, I'm down there a lot. I'll be down there 3 more times in the next 8 weeks working on a couple of projects. One in Austin. By the way, new Supra, unbelievable. The new Tundra, when it comes out, absolutely kills everything in the competition. It's phenomenal. So we've got new product coming, and that's a lot of what I've been doing lately, product stuff and policy stuff.
So maybe we just had the big Mother's Day giveaway on that, and that maybe our new promotion is Roy will give test drives on the new Supra. On that for folks on that, we could do a little promotion on that. That would be fun. We could take
that would be fun for everything but the Supra.
I've been known to be a little bit tough on equipment back in the day on some of that stuff, but it would be fun. No, we do need to work on that. That Supra's great. The Tundra's. I mean, that's an absolutely fabulous truck. I know some of the mechanicals of that and stuff, that the precision that some of the parts, especially the transmission and engine of that particular truck that are put together, are like light year standards, much better than most any truck that's out there on the market.
Yeah, we've got great engineers, and it's funny, we do compare notes, we do talk to other manufacturers. I've got friends. All of a sudden, my Ford friends are calling me like crazy. Getting in I haven't heard from some of these guys for a couple of years, and all of a sudden they want to chat. But at the end of the day, we spend, just put this out there now. We spend $1 million an hour every day of every year on research and development at Toyota. $1 million an hour on R&D. Now, if you can't come up with some pretty damn good product doing that, and other guys they're nowhere near it, not remotely close. So the stuff that we're coming up with, I can't talk about a lot of it.
Yes,
but it is amazing. It's amazing. And one of the things that's out now is this this hybrid Corolla. We also have a hybrid Camry, but at 53 miles to the gallon for a Corolla, think of how far you can drive without even having to stop to get gas. And I hate stopping and getting gas. All right. First off, at $4.50 a gallon, it pisses me off. Secondly, it's time consuming. All right. But think about going 600 miles or so without having to stop. I like that idea a whole bunch.
It is, and we got about 3 minutes left, and see how time flies with this. But I know you want to talk about the since you mentioned Toyota and Toyota San Bernardino and that. Talk about a little bit of our local elections. Juan Figueroa did a crushing defeat, won by over 40 points. I think things are looking up in San Bernardino. What's your take?
Yeah, I think that they are. I think that once you can get one voice going, more or less. I hate to say one voice in the sense that it's unified, because it's basically a 4-3 voice. But end of the day, it gives the mayor a chance for John Valdivia to put his policies into effect. Now, my prediction is that somebody on the council of the four, of the gang of four, is going to waffle. And we're already seeing signs of it with the animal shelter issue. But I think that what worries me, and I hope it doesn't happen, is that you get self-interest in front of politicians, and they chase self-interest more than they chase policy, good policy. So let's see where it goes. Certainly a lot of us are trying to help. I contributed to one, frankly, and I would like to see John Valdivia be incredibly successful, and certainly I'm willing to help on any front I can.
It is, and when you made kind of a point, and I do it a lot at the council meetings after the elections, and the elections are over. Now's time to govern, and if Valdivia is flying the plane of San Bernardino, I don't want it to crash if I'm on board. And I think if more people would take an approach like that and work with their elected officials where they're when they come into office like that and try and do that. Now, if they veer off the course, then that's a time for the next election cycle, and we can do that. But especially right after elections like this, John was just reelected. His seat's filled, the council's full at San Bernardino. And San Bernardino's still got some challenges in there. They all need to get on board on one page and really work to be turning that city around. I believe we got about 1 minute. I'll let you wrap it up.
All right. Well, we'll see. There are a lot of reports out there that the budget came in. It was a complete train wreck. The mayor put the city manager on fundamentally paid leave. You've got. I don't know how that could happen. Honestly, if I did that in business, I'd be bankrupt, and the city was bankrupt. Come to think of it, I just don't understand how that could happen, and I think they need to get some talent in. His big challenge will be to bring in people to work in San Bernardino in the city government, because the turnover and the reputation has been extremely difficult over the last several years. So he's going to have to do some real hard work to hire the right folks.
You got it. And we'll have you back on next week as events warrant, and give you your updates on that, of all the things, all the inside information that you won't get anywhere else, like in Texas and Toyota and San Bernardino and everything, with Cliff Cummings, the owner proprietor of the great Toyota San Bernardino. We'll be right back with the next segment on the Mighty Met 1490. Stay tuned.
Thanks, bud.
We'll see if Dwayne calls in, or we're going to make a test on here, and we're gonna see if we can get the some of the phone lines. Our YouTube channel is up. I put the links on there. Those of you watching on Facebook Live, tune in, and I'm kind of linking, and hopefully Jesse's linking some of our regular followers over here on this stuff. But when you're doing this thing all by yourself, or not all by yourself, when you're doing this in the host chair and trying to do all these things and doing interview and stuff, it gets kind of busy. So. But no, we're testing out our new YouTube channel, IE Newswire Live. Go to there, or search it in that. It should come up. We're gonna have another alternate spot of where you can move the where you can watch the show on that and see if it will work. Another option for us to do that. So when we do have problems like maybe yesterday, we won't be totally locked out, or maybe we'll get a better quality over there or that, and expand the audience. We're going to try a lot of new things on the show today, or today and in the future. We're going to build it. Bring it. We're really going to work on Jesse. We just got Jesse some new tools he can play with on the video cast, to make the, to make it more entertaining and easier to watch. So along with all that stuff, we're gonna do. There's Carla. Thanks for tuning in. Raven's tuning in. I'm looking at the comments. Anybody that's on the YouTube channel, and I guess I ought to do that too. See if stick some comments on there. We're going to do a little experiment. So you guys coming up, if somebody will call in, I'm going to give the number out, 951. So we're back on a free-for-all Thursday on Lou Desmond Company Show. Roy sitting in for Lou and the company on that. We're doing that. Program note. So we're going to try this. We've had some difficulties on some of our phone lines and stuff and not been able to take as many callers and stuff. So we're going to do a little experiment, hopefully, in this segment. If somebody can call in and wake up Sean over there at KMUT. No, Sean works very hard. We're just teasing him a little bit. But call into this number, 951-922-3532. And see if we can hook up, because we've had some problems with that line. So we're going to see if it will work up. And our listeners, especially on Facebook Live or YouTube, let us know if we do get a caller on, if you can hear them on that platform. So we can, if we still got issues in, we can fix them, which would be a good thing. Or that, and you don't know until you try it. And the only way we can test this is live on the air. So you guys are going to help us out a little bit, hopefully, by calling in. 951-922-3532. You're going to remember that. That's the haven't done that. I haven't done that number in like 2 years since we've been doing that, or since we've used that phone number. So hopefully some will call in. Jesse, have the story up, and I think I sent you in the email the Jim and Joe little part of that. That's a very interesting. Yes, I posted this on a Mimi on Inland Empire Newswire today. And I mean, you can look at the numbers on that. 108 shares, 20 comments, 7. Oh, look at that! I mean, what a great poker hand. 7,777 people reached. I mean, how could you get a better poker hand than that, Jesse? And a quadruple 7 on that. I mean, that's great. But no, here's the deal. And we talked about in education, this and getting the workers the skills they need so they can succeed in the 21st century. And it has college student Jim and lineman Joe, who's up there working on the power pole on this. So it starts off with Jim, bachelor's degree in philosophy. Joe, 4-year paid apprenticeship. Jim, $100,000 in student debt. Joe, no student debt. Jim, he can't find a philosopher's job. Joe earns $80,000 annually. Jim believes people without a college degrees are stupid. Joe is disconnecting Jim's electricity for non-payment. Now, I know it's funny, it is, but it is the real world. And again, we've talked about it. We've had, we had the article that came out that Inland Empire was the leading area of, millennials living with moms and the socioeconomic impact of that. And again, it's like that. $100,000 in student debt with a degree that you basically is useless. And if you don't believe me, go look at the recent Wall Street Journal article out there that says, and they did the study, and all across the board, people with college degrees are not even learning the skills and things that they did 10, 20, 30 years ago. I hear this I not only see it, I hear it from employers all the time. They just don't have the skills. A college degree, a associate's arts degree, a high school diploma does not mean what it did 10, 20, 30 years ago. 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, you had one of those, you knew that they had a certain amount of skills. If you had that sheepskin of said whatever, you could at least read, write, do arithmetic, you had a certain skill level. If you looked at that and you said you graduated from high school, okay, I'm not hiring a nincompoop that can't do anything. Today, that is totally different. You hear the reports. They get out of high school. They go into junior college. They can't read or write. They got to teach them remedial, reading and writing and arithmetic. It's crazy. And we've created this. And this is a great example of that. And it happens. The average 30-year-old is carrying $48,000 in college debt right now. That everybody else, anybody calling in? 951-922-3532. I'll say it real slow. No, Sean's telling me not yet. 951-922-3532. You called good when we had the prizes out there. Give me a ring. We need somebody to call in just to make a test. And we're going to have Tom Del Beccaro in on the next segment. And then in the last segment, if we don't get nobody to call in, hopefully we'll get somebody to call in on the last segment. But on top of that, it's a great story of what is what the real world is, and it is a funny meme, but it does have a lot of truth. I mean, I want to talk about that. What the heck, and we previewed a little bit of what's going on down at USC. I mean, you had the George Tyndall scandal that broke last year. The gynecologist that was allegedly abusing all the female students in there. Now we have the Dr. Kelly one that broke a couple months ago, where he was allegedly abusing the gay students. I think it was 32 that initially filed, 18 more filed today, and some of the salacious stuff that was in the press conference that was out there of what he had these young men doing to satisfy his his alleged sexual fantasies or whatever going on is absolutely incredible. Some of the stories that were going on out there. It was okay. So we got that. We got a caller coming in. So patch him through, Sean. I think it's my dad, Pete. Are you out there? Yes, I need a caller. So we got it. Yes, great to have you on, Pop. But so anybody, I just want to preface that we got a minute, and I'll let you comment on it. But anybody that's out there in the comments on Facebook Live, tell me if you can hear my dad, Pete, going on. We're doing an experiment. So you got any opinions of what I've been talking about? We've got about 2 minutes left.
Well, like I say, you tell them what I did. That's how I got through with the world. I had to learn everything from working on sewers all the way up to running heavy equipment. And I didn't have to pay anybody. Hard work.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, we had some neat technical difficulties. Somehow we're hearing you through the studio. But yeah, no, it is. It is. And I did that. And I even talked to the newly elected school board member, Daryl Peden, when we were talking and when we were being interviewed on the appointment deal. And he's got like $80,000 in college debt. And I told him, you know what is really disappointing? Yeah, I bet you one of them TVs is on. It was really, I said, you know what's disappointing? And he was saying, I had to sell one house to buy another one. And I said, what's really disappointing in that is you do not have, and your generation does not have the opportunities I and my generation did because of all of the socioeconomic. Oh, just go to college. We'll give you all this debt. And you remember it, I'm sure, back in the 60s when Governor Pat Brown, which happened to be a Democrat, started the university system basically, and it was no cost to any student from K through a 4-year degree. But even once you got out of high school, to earn that 4-year degree or to get into the university system, you had to match a certain standard. They just didn't usher you in like that. We have about 30 seconds left.
Well, it's one of them deals. When Pat Brown first started the freeways, he paid for them on cash. Now we don't even give them paid for it, and they're wore out.
Yeah, it is, and that's the bad. That's the thing that I see most is they're going to miss this opportunity, and a generation is really going to have a tough time struggling or living the life that you did or I did or our generations did. And that's what's disappointing. Thanks for calling in. We'll see if it works. We'll run it back on the replay and we'll see if it came through on that. Thanks for helping us out on the test pop. We'll be right back with Tom Del Beccaro right after this. No, I'm shut off. Is the speakers open on the on that? Where in the hell was that coming from? I mean, it can't be coming from this one. Something, yeah, I bet you that's what it is. I bet you it's coming out of
Well,
the speaker out
probably
out
because
of.
I'm trying to figure out how
Yeah,
to
we're trying
get
to
the
figure.
Skype audio
I
for
don't know if
people.
it came through, but yeah, we're somehow we're getting a double speaker, another speaker of the caller coming through. So, but yeah, I bet you're right. I bet you that's where it sounded like it was coming through, like the PC that's sitting under your desk, because I know it does that. It does do that because when I've like just been playing around with the junk in here and stuff, yeah, it'll come through. There's a speaker in the damn PC over there, and it starts playing yada yada yada. So yeah, I bet you that's what it was. Let's see if we can get Tom Del Beccaro up.
Hey Tom, this is Jesse with the Lou Desmond Show. I got you there.
Oh, you there, Tom?
I am.
Okay, we got about
Uh,
30 seconds. Heck, I forgot
I,
even what your article was. I'm just kind of going to introduce you.
it's on Joe. It's on
Yeah,
the Democrats.
I know that.
Trying
Yeah,
to say.
I'm just going to kind of introduce you in, and then you can pick it up and run with it.
Okay, thank you.
Now that one I know. That's "Ramblin' Gamblin' Man" by Bob Seger. I can get that one. I'm usually pretty bad at some of the bumper tunes we're coming in. Or I know what the song is. I just don't know who sang them or the titles and stuff. But that one I did get. So maybe I'll get a gold star for some of that stuff. But anyway, enough of the small talk. We're coming back with one of our longtime guests on the show who's been on there. He runs Political Vanguard. You'll see him on Fox News all across the board. He's an attorney, highly successful, very well known in politics, not only in California, but across the nation. Tom Del Beccaro, welcome back to the show.
Roy, thanks so much for having me on tonight. Another busy week in politics.
Oh, it's heating up, isn't it?
Yeah, the resistance continues, and meanwhile the economy rises. And of course, the Democrats now facing this rising economy are trying to take credit for it.
Yes, it is. And, they're ultimately, and we've talked about it a little bit, and I know you've got an article up about Joe Biden and the campaign. But at this point, just looking at the snapshot, everything can change in a heartbeat in politics. Looking at it at this point, I mean, what are the Democrats legitimately going? What issue could they run on in 2020 that would get the American people to not elect Donald Trump and elect whomever of the 9,432 Democratic candidates that are running?
Well, of course, there's still a long way to go, but at this stage, it could well be health care. The Republicans, despite the passage of 11 years, 12 years, have not come out with a comprehensive fix for our healthcare markets. And by that, of course, I don't mean that government should be fixing the markets, but the laws should be fixed so as to allow the private sector to do better and take over a greater amount of healthcare. And of course, there needs to be a safety net related to healthcare as well. But that's the one issue that hurt Republicans the most in 2018. And of course, all of the Democrats are running on some form of a large healthcare program. And in politics, you can't beat something with nothing. And just saying that Medicare for all is a bad idea, it isn't enough. They want an answer. And voters always want something. So Republicans need to do a number of things one of which is take ownership of the economy. They're letting the Democrats take credit for it, but they have to provide a health care fix.
And you know what my healthcare fix would be, and that would be a free market, solution to that. And I'm pretty sure it would probably be close to your opinion too. But how do you actually market the reality of that situation? Of if you go back to a free market healthcare system, we could address a lot of this stuff, uh, deliver healthcare to many more people, much more cheaply. But somehow that just doesn't resonate.
Well, yes, because it's easier to say, if you're a politician, I'm going to give you health care for free. And that, of course, is how governments grow. That's the whole... My dad, one of the first lessons he taught me when it was when I was in the late 60s, when I was about 8 years old, he said the Democrats have it made because they're convincing voters that they can vote themselves rich. And that has been the story of ever larger government for 1,000, 2,000 years before, and will be 2,000 years from now. But the Republicans need to come up with sensible fixes. Remember, an important realignment happened in '94 when Republicans didn't say, here's how to take over the whole government, but the Contract of America sought to fix some very specific items and give people tangible things that they could look forward and say, okay, we can improve things by doing X, Y, or Z. So, take the issue of the number of plans that are out there, right? You can only, through the government system, buy so many plans. There's no reason for that. They should expand that immediately to give people greater access to healthcare plans that are more affordable. That would be an easy overnight fix. Getting rid of the tax on new medical devices. That's insanity. Why would you discourage the creation of medical devices? That's crazy. So there's a lot of small things that the Republicans should put together in a package and say, if you elect us to take over the House and Donald Trump wins, here's what we'll do in healthcare in 2020.
Yes.
2021.
Yes, it is, and that is. But in your newest column up on Fox News is about the Trump economy and Joe Biden trying to plagiarize that, and the history of Joe Biden and his plagiarism. So, clue the folks in on your newest column and where they can read it.
Well, they can go to politicalvanguard.com and get it, and they can also get it at Fox News. And look, Joe Biden and the Democrats are trying to say that Obama caused this economy. Now, look, the economics is actually very simple. It's the study of human behavior as it relates to the economy, buying, selling, whatever. And one of the most foundational principles related to it is it's called the law of demand. And what that law basically says is the more something costs, the less of it you get. So the reason why Ford sells more cars than Bentley certainly isn't quality. It is related to price, right?
Yes.
Fords are much cheaper. So when you add costs to anything, you tend to get less of it. That applies to employees, startup businesses. It applies to the economy as a whole. And if you believe in economics, you have to accept the law of demand. If you don't accept that raising income taxes deters people from making income, then you don't believe in the economics and the law of demand. If you don't accept that high costs related to employees results in less employees, then you actually don't believe in the basic principles of economics and the economy as a whole. Back in July of 2008, when Obama was going to become the nominee, I said very simple on the shows I appeared on all around the country. I said, if this guy's elected, the economy will get softer for as long as he's in office. And I was asked why, and I said it's pretty simple. The economy's not doing that great right now, and he plans to raise taxes and regulations, meaning he was going to impose costs on the economy, which, according to the law of demand, means you get less of the economy. Donald Trump, by contrast, and I show the chart on the difference in growth rates, Donald Trump reduced the costs on the economy, and the economy responded as individuals had greater incentives to risk money, to make money, and the economy is doing much better. In fact, I know you know this, Roy, and your listeners, the left said we'd never have 3% growth again, which is ludicrous. There's no immutable law that says you can't have growth above a certain amount. And in the last 12 months, we've had growth of 3.25%, meaning in the last year, we've had growth of 3.25, and now the naysayers are trying to take credit and say it's Obama's economy.
Yes, it is. And, I think ever increasingly they're looking at the part of it is they're running a desperation campaign of trying to come up with this, the whole investigation. Trump's a crook. He's doing this and that, and yada 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 is falling, faster than a lead balloon. I mean, we were just talking with Cliff Cummings, and he was down in Texas and Louisiana, and he said things are going great guns down there. They can't even get enough workers to build all the stuff they're building down there. I mean, we haven't seen a renaissance or I don't remember seeing as quick a turnaround for as down in the dumps as the economy was as quickly as it has the last couple of years since Trump's been in office.
Well, you'd have to go back to the 1980s when Reagan did his 2 tax reform bills, and growth really responded well. And prior to that, you'd have to go to the 60s, and prior to that, you'd have to go to the early 20s. It's possible to do this. It's just common sense. You look around you all the time. You see stores put things on sale. Why do they do that? Because they know people will change their behavior and buy something more if it costs less. That's the law of demand. The same thing applies to income, to starting a businesses. If it costs $100,000 to start a business, you will get more at $100,000 than you will if they cost $500,000. Just as you would buy more jeans at $25 if they were priced with the same quality as jeans at $100. And so Trump put the U.S. economy on sale. The Democrats trying to take credit for it is absurd. Their policies only raise costs on business in America overall, the total burden. You can't say that you helped grow the economy by putting more costs on the economy. The economy grew despite their efforts, not because of it.
Yes, it is, and we've it's incredible, when you just break things down to its simplest form. Or a lot of this stuff is economics. Government is not that complicated. If you just do the simple things, stick to a few simple principles, and that we know will work, it all works out. We got about 30 seconds left. I'll let you wrap it up.
Well, look, the Republicans need to take ownership of the economy and sell people on the fact that, in fact, it was their policies, not the Democrats. So I wrote this piece in Fox about Joe Biden's economic plagiarism. Take a look at it. You can get it at Political Vanguard. As always, please buy The Divided Era at Amazon. Thanks so much.
You got it. We'll have you on again next week. Thanks for being on, Tom.
All right. Bye-bye.
You got it. There you go. All that. It is. I mean, it's incredulous. I don't really know what these 5,432 Democrats are going to run on, but we'll see. It'll be fun, and we'll cover it. We'll be right back with the last segment. Really Desmond Company Show with Roy sitting in, as it's been commonplace here lately. We'll be right back on the Mighty Met 1490. Stay tuned.
thinking about the voice where your dad was coming from.
No, it's coming out of that PC.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's where, and I don't know how you shut that speaker off, but I've heard it before. All of a sudden, yeah, that starts going blah 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 blah
That's
blah.
because I'm doing with the settings.
Yeah, it's because you're playing with the. Yeah, sometimes when you're on XSplit like that or something, yeah, it starts running through that computer.
Well, because what I tried to do was pull the Skype audio so that they can hear it.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Nobody's commenting to see if or that I'm seeing that said that
I'll go back out.
or see that came in on that, but we'll talk about something.
Let's see, you got 10 minutes.
Yeah. Really. Putting the pressure on, huh? Uh-oh, I think we got a caller, hopefully. They're probably calling in here. Maybe it's somebody, probably one of these.
Hello, this is. Hey, Pete. Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, cool, thanks. That's a lot of help. Bye. Oh, it was your dad. He heard the voice, your mom did.
Having trouble with the high school head. He's giving you the blues. You wanna write
I think Jesse likes AC/DC for some reason because we've been getting a lot of AC/DC bumper music in there. That of the very popular band from the 70s. When did they start? About the 70s? 70s to 80s was their heyday, wasn't it? Something like that, yeah.
Bringing it back.
There, yes. Jesse's reliving the 70s and 80s and of that. Back when you got out of college, you didn't have $100,000 of debt. You had actually like zero debt or that. We'll have fun with that. Oh, we got about. Give us a try again. Anybody else who wants to call in? 951-922-3532. Give us a call. Make sure Sean's not falling asleep over there at the KMET studios. I think we got a call back from my dad. He said I think he heard it coming across the Facebook Live or the YouTube stream. Put some comments in there. Those of you who are listening on the stream, tell us if you heard Pete on there in the second segment of that, and we got our technical issues. I don't know why it was coming through the computer over here on that, but we're still working the bugs out. But at least if we're getting the audio back through that on both platforms, that'll be a step in the right direction. And if we do, we'll have some more ability to take more callers, get more guests on and some of that. And even if we do have a problem here in studio, we'll be able to maybe make some patchwork adjustments and Skype in and run this thing through KMET studios. So like when we have a little condition like we did in the first segment of yesterday where we weren't on the air, maybe we could fire this thing off and get it going and work on some of that stuff. But yeah, a lot of exciting things are happening with the show. A lot of innovations coming on. You're going to start seeing the little stuff scrolling across the screen while we're talking. And there, Jesse was playing with that a little bit earlier today. So a lot of fun stuff going on. That I want to talk about this, and we touched on a little bit yesterday. The toll roads are coming to San Bernardino. The feds just are backing a loan or whatever to put toll roads from basically Redlands all the way to the county line on the 15 or the 10. The 10, going that the east-west corridor in there. Maybe we'll have to get Tracy Capps or one of those that's been really on that, and especially on the San Bernardino side, back on the show to see how bad you're going to get hosed in this deal. If we're going to buy a traffic lane, they have plenty. $220 million budget, $1 billion. Not million, $1 billion for the state of California, and they cannot fix our roads. Come on. We have to do toll roads. It's ridiculous. The amount of money they're spending on stupid bike lanes that people don't ride, stupid trains nobody's going to ride, buses, that decreasing ridership, and we're increasing bus access. All along, you're making our roads safer. The traffic deaths among pedestrians, which includes bicyclists, is skyrocketing, and especially in these areas when they're putting these bikes right against traffic. Yo, I may be a ditch bank Okie from Edgemont, but I can figure out if you're weigh about 150, 200 pounds and you're riding a 40-pound bicycle and you get hit by that same person who's 150, 200 pounds but driving a 2-ton car, the dude on the bicycle is in deep blanking trouble. When you don't mix cars with bicycles. That is absolutely freaking stupid. On top of that, taking traffic lanes away so it makes a traffic congestion worse. I mean, California, I don't know why it drives me absolutely insane of why we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. And please tell me, 951-922-3532. Tell me why you keep electing these idiots, yo-hos. You elected Gavin Newsom at over 60%. And look at what the bullet train, $10 billion for, and it isn't even going to be a bullet train. It's going to burn diesel. Smokestacks coming out of it like crazy, polluting us. Greenhouse gases are saying we're all going to die. That's not what they sold you. Now you tell me, are they lying to you? Why do you keep believing it? Why do you keep denying reality of the situation of what's going on? I mean, it's absolutely nuts of what drives me crazy. I don't even know why, but look on that. I want to cover this. We missed this story. It was from last week, but it says don't look in the show email and don't mess with Melissa. Have that link up and put it up on the screen. Yes, it's from the California Globe. Longtime contributor of ours wrote this, Katie Grimes. But you see, if you see the picture coming up on the screen of that, why isn't it coming up on my screen? I'm seeing it on the. There we go. Now Jesse's got it up. Yes, you're seeing a cut-up basketball of on there. And it was an article in the California Globe by Katie Grimes, I said, who's a longtime contributor on the show. Assemblywoman Melissa Melendez is known for being a straight shooter and keeping her word. So when a colleague, Assemblyman Chad Odious Mays, lied to her, she let him know of her displeasure memorably. Melendez, Republican of Lake Elsinore, had authored Assembly Bill 359, a bill that extends the length of the time of the revolving door ban on lobbying in the legislature from 1 year to 5 years when a lawmaker leaves office. Ahead of the hearing on her bill, Mays, of Republican of, and I use that term lightly, of Yucca Valley, assured Melendez that she had his support. Only during the hearing, Mays not only spoke out in opposition to the bill, he voted against it, killing the bill. And you Republicans elected Chad Mays of all that cap and tax Chad Mays, whose vote and lobbying when he was head of the Republican Assembly, in the Assembly up in the state of California, lobbied to raise your gas prices $1 a gallon over the next couple of years. You know why that gas is going to 4 and 5 and possibly 6 or 7 in the next 2 years? It's because of Chad Mays. And you re-elected this guy. And he sat there. Now, who are you going to believe? Assembly Superwoman Melissa Melendez or that snake Chad Mays? Sometimes, again, I don't understand that. I don't know why we don't hold our politicians accountable. across the board for these actions of all this, of screwing up the once golden state. Again, I don't hate California. I hate what California is becoming. I mean, we outlined it with Cliff. Tom Del Beccaro touched on it a little bit. We talk about it a lot on this show. And I don't know. It's heartbreaking. Not only, sometimes I can even see the Democrat, the lefts, the real nutcases doing this. But when it's coming from supposedly those who are on the side of freedom and liberty and what's doing right are stabbing us in the back. I mean, look what they're doing to Donald Trump even. He's getting some flack even amongst his own party. Who knows? We'll be back tomorrow on Fun, Frivolous, Freaky, and maybe even a little feisty Friday. We'll have Stephanie back in. Maybe Lou will be back from his big Vegas trip. Anyway, we'll have a lot of fun tomorrow. We'll lighten it up. We'll cover a lot of the community events and everything else. So, that's it. Until tomorrow, 23 hours back here on the Mighty Met 1490, IE Newswire Live on Facebook, and we kicked off the new YouTube channel. And as Montgomery says, we're gone. Ah.